to go to the milk barn and see how hard it is.
But you know, still they wouldn't care. This is my feelings. There's so many uncaring people that have been up there so many years and they think that they have it owed to them. And you know, I get sick and tired of hearing, you know, about, well, and I'm sorry, but I know that they think, well, they shouldn't have to raise any taxes on the rich, you know, the people, and even the rich say, you know, do it, you know, especially the top 2% of the very, very rich, and they're paying, supposedly, from what I read, the same or less income tax than what we pay.
Oh, come on, man. The top 2% are paying 60% of their income. I mean, all the income tax.
I just say what I have read and seen, that their rate's the same as ours. You say they're paying 60%.
Yeah.
Well, on that handout, you'll see the top 10% of the earners in the nation pay 70% of the taxes. But I still have frustrations with the code in that you have a GE that is taking advantage of deductions that you and I would never see, and getting it down to zero. So there's work to be done. I'm going to give you that. But just to punish folks for being successful, like I said, I grew up in a household we didn't have pot pen. But that doesn't mean I want to have class warfare and go after somebody that doesn't. I want it fair. You know, I want people that the 51% to get a job and be successful and help pull the load. That's all I want, and I think we can get there. But right now, with the players in Washington, and I know it's frustrating, but let me tell you, over the last couple cycles, the faces are changing in Washington. I don't know what the turnovers have been, but if you recall, we had a big wave year when Obama was elected, and Republicans all lost their seats. Then we had a big wave year 2 years ago. Democrats all lost their seats. So you look around, and most of us that are remaining there today went there with one goal in mind, and that was we're mad at Republicans, we're mad at Democrats, and we knew there was a better way, and we're focused on doing that. So I know there's no trust with Washington. There shouldn't be. I don't even know whether I trust my colleagues. But I'm hoping we can earn some of that trust back, because we really, I think, can get it right this time and given another opportunity.
Well, I do think that Kansas is lucky. I think of our politicians, I think they do a very good job, and I think they can be trusted. But I don't feel that way about some of the larger states. And
I agree. There's some of those guys that have been there. Charlie Rangel from New York. I don't know how long you've been there, but
Nancy Pelosi.
How do you feel about the flat tax?
I support. I'm an author or a sponsor. You know, I'm not going to go out on a limb and say it's going to happen overnight. You know, good ideas take time, and I think that's where we're moving. Oh yeah, and I asked the chairman to hold a hearing on it 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had, well, like the fair tax, we had Governor Huckabee come in and speak for it, and you know, it's just a lot of it's just shining light on an issue and educating folks and bringing people along. But certainly the tax reform that I'm talking about, it heads in that direction.
Like my wife said, that we both served and then we moved on. That is the same way that our government was designed and set up. Is there any talk of term limits? Because, you know, I mean, to me, I think that is a very important issue, because it was designed for the average, everyday person to go serve their country, go home, go back to their job that they did. And I think that could eliminate a whole lot, because we all know that's it's a deal-making, good old boy group. Pardon the expression.
No, I'm living it.
Yeah, I mean, and we got a taste of not in this state, but a different state, of some local town government. And just what we saw at a local level of a small town about the size of Emporia. I mean, the good old boy groups, and you vote for me, I'll vote for you. I mean, that's just, is there anything in Congress right now?
You know, we talk about a lot on the House side, and I would suspect at some point before the next election cycle we'll have that vote, and I will tell you, I'm likely to vote for it. But I do want to give the other side of the story, because Kansans get it right, like you said. And I'm still trying to hold out for a way to convince the rest of the country to follow our lead, because if you recall, when I got frustrated with Washington Republicans at first, I challenged a man I dearly love, Jim Ryan, who served this district well in a Republican primary, because I felt like Republicans lost their way. No one in their right mind gave me a prayer, because I was running against a guy that had been in Washington for 10 years. He had all the money. He raised 3.5 times more than I did. Money is supposed to buy elections. And you know what? People in the 2nd District in Kansas said, oh no. And somehow, thanks to you all, I won. And then I went into a general election with an incumbent. Someone who was in the seat, had all the lobbying money, all of the benefits. 99% of incumbents win. And what did Kansans say? Oh no. So I guess I feel a little bit like, why would, if we put term limits in, that would take your ability to decide who represents you away. At some point, if I wanted to stay, if I had the stomach for it, I couldn't, even if you said, we want you to stay. I think the American people need to do their job and go to the ballot box, throw out the guns, and keep the ones that are doing their job, and give you all the power to decide. And I think Kansans do that. I guess that's my beef, is I see it work. I see the process work the way it was intended at home. And when I see Charlie Granville, I can't square that with, why wouldn't those people do it the way we do it here? So I am a little bit conflicted. They made this system, I think, the way they did, because if we all go vote, we get to say who represents us, regardless of how long they've been there. 2 years or 20 years.
I agree, but like you say, the incumbent, how much did he raise financially? 3.5 times more than you.
Yeah.
The normal person, an average person, yes, you were fortunate. We believed in you. That's why you got elected. And but the normal person, I would run for office. I'd go in and serve, but there's no way I couldn't afford it. I couldn't begin to. I couldn't start an exploratory committee or anything. The average person that would have any interest in doing that, they don't stand a chance, basically, like you said, against,
And that's why I would probably support it. I appreciate that. Not that I don't have any money in this game. It's not like I bought the seat. I don't come from money. I don't have money. All of my money was given to me by people who believed in me. And I just think you work twice as hard and you overcome it. But you're right. It's an uphill battle, and it doesn't work always. But I guess I just want to believe that people will take that responsibility at the ballot box.
So do we, but
as
it hasn't been
serious
that way.
as we all do here in
Because
Kansas.
I don't think people really pay attention to politics. Most people in general
Well, it's
don't.
disgusting.
And they go to the polls because that's their duty, and they go and they look at these names and go, well, I've heard of that person before, so I'm going to vote for them. And that is unfortunately the way many people I personally know are.
If they go.
If they go at all, yeah.
If they go at all.
And we, I think in office, have a lot to do with the low voter turnout, because it's just, people are so disgusted. And no one's more disgusted than I am.
I'll tell you what, Charles Rangel's people are not disgusted.
Well,
And
they're
I understand
loving,
that.
yeah, they're loving it right now,
Yeah,
but
I understand that.
Yeah.
You give everybody everything they want.
Right. I
But
think
sometimes-
times are
But some
changing.
people, and I think that's probably why the Midwest is the way they are. They know they have to work for a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the difference.
We can't continue to borrow at this rate. We've got to balance our books.
I think this one thing says most of it, 51% of people don't pay taxes.
And that goes back to, we need to change the policies to help the job creators create jobs, get everybody a job,
Yeah.
That's exactly right.
control health care, so we've got everybody on a health plan that they can afford. We have some major challenges, and I think we can do it, but right now the folks in Washington just see it so differently that I don't have optimism in the short run.
I'm not saying that corporations don't have some flaws, but I guarantee you, we need them in America.
Well, I sure don't
If
think
it
the
takes
federal
tax, and
government
if it takes
creates
taxes and
jobs.
regulations to get them back, then I'd eliminate the taxes and regulations.
Amen. What else do we need to
You know, we have a small homestead, and this last couple of years, we've had to downsize tremendously because of the cost of hay, and grain has, you know, exponentially increased. And in addition to that, though, you know, we are concerned that the government is going to implement the National Animal Identification System, which will make us even put out more money to tag all of our animals and follow that system and pay into that system. Where is that now?
Can we check on that? If you'll give us your name, we'll find out exactly where it's at. But that's one that I'm just doubtful. Republicans have had it up to here with additional regulations and more government control. You know, the genius of America is not in Washington. Give us all a little credit here. So while we can do very little to address your needs, which is to change the face of Washington, balance the budget, eliminate the waste, and do what's right, we can't do that. We need the Senate to vote for it too. We need the President to sign it. But what we can do is stop bad stuff. That's the only power we have right now, is to stop bad stuff. And we take that very seriously. So that's one example.
And we want the regulations for all the farmers to have a truck license to drive their trucks.
It's these kind of things. But what our fear is they go around the legislative process, as they've attempted to do on the whole cap and trade thing, and just let the administration have the regulators.
Pennsylvania already done it.
Yeah. So that's our fear right now, is to just make sure they, you know, while we can stop legislation, that they just don't implement a policy through reg that will do the same thing. And, you know, again, we can scream and yell and shed light and hope to stop it that way. So come on in. Glad you could make it. Well, that's fine. We were a little bit tardy ourselves, but thanks for being here. We've been waiting on you to tell us everything we need to know.
Like what?
Here we go. He's going to take the bait.
7,300 dominoes.
What's
Now,
that?
what else do you want?
Is that the answer to everything?
Anybody that'll give me a donation for our church building fund,
Oh, is that right? Which church are you building?
Christian Church in Burlington.
Well, good. Good luck with that. We were just talking about the problems and how we think we can best address them.
Now, who are these people that don't pay taxes? Are you talking about people on welfare and this sort of thing?
My sense is it's a combination of people on the very high end that can afford a high-powered tax attorneys to figure out creative ways to get them out of it. Ones that can afford lobbyists to come to D.C. and crank somebody's arm until they support a special deduction for this, that, or the other. And the folks right now that can barely put food on the table.
What about gas companies? Do they pay?
Sure, but you know, those are going to be probably some that would be affected by the eliminating the tax expenditures and flattening the code out.
How about GE?
Yeah, I mean that's the motive. That's the motivator.
Now they're moving out of their X-ray division, their engineering group, to guess where?
China.
Beijing.
Yeah.
We've got to stop that.
Well, we just talked about that. It's litigation, regulation, and taxation. When we do that, they'll stay. We will compete with anyone, anytime.
How about putting a high tariff on products coming into this country that their companies are moving to Mexico, building them there, and then shipping them back? How about a high tariff so it's cheaper for them to build them here and give our people jobs?
Why wouldn't you just change the policy here so we can compete?
Either way.
Yeah, well that's my answer, because otherwise we just punish our own people because we pay higher taxes. A tariff is a tax, and if we put a higher tax on something, you're paying higher taxes, nobody wants to do
If you
that.
buy the product.
So.
But if it's high enough, people aren't going to buy the product.
Well, I just introduced a bill for Payless shoes, and any mother that's trying to put shoes on their kids to get them back to school, as I am,